What's up everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Soph. Today I'm sitting down and filming a video for you guys instead of doing a vlog because I wanted to address a couple things about kind of like my journey to medical school that I haven't really addressed since I haven't really posted a video in the past 6 months. So in this video, I'm just going to be talking about what has happened since the last MCAT related video you saw on my channel, which I think was an MCAT study with me, and what my plan is moving forward, where I'm at in the process, and all of those things. So if you're interested in hearing about my whole career goals and journey, stay tuned. I feel like I should start at the beginning. If I'm not mistaken, I posted that last video, the MCAT study with me, around, I want to say, the beginning of January because I was home for Christmas time, New Year's time, and I was studying for the MCAT because I was scheduled for January 23rd. So I was studying all through Christmas break. I like missed a lot of moments because I was studying for the exam, but you know, as expected. And I made that video, I posted it, and that to this day has been one of my most watched videos, which is not a lot of views, but you know, starting out on a channel, like I could tell that people really want to see those types of videos. And my intention originally posting about my whole medical school experience was like, I want to post about, you know, being real and just like really talking about what it's really like to apply to medical school and take the MCAT, because I watch all those videos myself on YouTube and I feel like people aren't really super honest. Like, you mostly see the people, you know, who score 99th percentile, who have perfect GPAs, who their parents are doctors themselves, they have all the resources in the world, they've known they wanted to be doctors for the longest time, all of those things. And you see people like that are just talking about things from a very privileged place. And not to say that I don't have privilege, because I did grow up with my own privileges for sure and my own advantages, but for in certain places and certain criteria, I definitely didn't fit in with that group of people, and it didn't really help me to see those people posting on YouTube and talking about how well everything is going and how perfect it was and all of that. So that was really my intention going into like even prepping or like thinking about posting anything about the MCAT or medical school, because it can be kind of stressful, or I was a little bit hesitant to post or to talk about it because obviously like there's still a lot there's still a lot that is out of my control, and so I didn't want to like jinx it. I'm like superstitious like that, I guess. So I don't want to talk about it in a way that's like, oh well, do it like how I did it because I know better, because I don't, because I'm still learning as I go. And that was kind of my intention. So I actually don't think it was a study with me. It was like what really happened on my MCAT test day, and it was a vlog of that whole day and how I was feeling and everything. So that day happened. I got my score a month later, like usual. And I actually opened it with my therapist like in session, because I didn't open it until like a week and a half after it actually was available, because I was going through a really hard time like mentally around that time of my life, and I wasn't prepared to deal with the fact that maybe I was gonna get a score I wasn't happy with. And so I waited until my therapist made me do it in front of her, which actually worked out because, you know, we could do damage control from whatever the outcome was. And so that's what we did. I was in her office, we opened it, I got a score that was not good, but there was nothing I can do about it. And just from that point on, I was able to talk through it with her, and my first thought was, well, I'm gonna have to take it again, because it was below average, it was not good, but it's what I should have expected, right? Like, I wasn't scoring super great on my practice test. I wasn't feeling super great going into the test, but for some reason I still took it, and I didn't have anybody there to tell me like, Sophia, like, you're being dumb, you're wasting time, you're wasting resources, like, just put it off. I was so ready to be done. I had felt like I had sacrificed so much time and so much, like, you know, life experience and other things preparing for this test. So I was like, well, I'm gonna take it anyway. And I really was not ready, and that's something that I can talk about in a separate video, because there's a lot of things that I felt like I did wrong that I just didn't know any better. So anyway, so yeah, I knew right away that I had to take it again. And my first thought was around this time, I think it was January, like early February. And I was like, okay, well, I am going to take it in May. That's really like the, you know, the most traditional route that people would do. You know, you want to take it early enough so that you can have your score before the primary application for like the Amcas opens, and so you don't have to be waiting to submit your primary application, or to not to submit your primary application, or but for it to be complete, so then you can already like start the application process. Well, based on like where my mental health was at and all the things that I was dealing with, I decided that day with my therapist that it was probably best to just give myself a break and use the summer after graduation to really prepare myself the correct way, instead of just trying to rush into it and take the test again just to take it, you know, just to get it out of the way. Because odds are, doing that same type of like process, I wasn't going to get the outcome that I needed in order to be a competitive applicant for my primary application. So I decided, okay, well, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna be thinking about it, but I'm not gonna take the MCAT until later in the summer. I was aiming for like July at that time, but I hadn't actually scheduled anything. So I want to say that was early February, and then I went to Panama. I had just gone through a breakup at the end of January, and so I was kind of going through that. I was super busy with school. I was taking 21 credit hours my last semester. I was like president of this and that, and involved in so many things, and really like dealing with a lot of stuff. So I ended up going to Panama with my family to meet my godson in February, at the end of February, and then I went on a study abroad to Brazil, Salvador, Brazil, which maybe you have seen the vlog, in March. So I got back from that Brazil trip on March 15th. I was there for 10 days, and that's when pretty much COVID like lockdown started. So the day that I got back from Brazil, we were on lockdown. It was the craziest thing to experience while we were on the trip. Like, everything was getting canceled. I don't think I actually like talked about it much in the vlog, but that really changed everything, because I was getting ready to graduate. I was working on research. I was building a relationship with a maternal fetal medicine doctor in Columbus, Ohio, that I was going to be shadowing like very, very frequently until the end of the semester, because I hadn't had the chance to do much shadowing because I really don't know any doctors, and I had a hard time at Ohio State competing with so many students, finding a doctor that would let me come and shadow them. And so I finally found somebody, and I was getting set up to, you know, really make my application super strong. And then COVID happened, and non-essential personnel were not allowed, and all of that. That kind of messed up my whole thing. You know, it's the end of the semester, is my last chance to really do what I can to like buff up my resume, so I can put my application together, and so that it's like very, very like, you know, well done. I went home, I finished out the rest of the semester online, and I graduated in May, so like the beginning of May. Virtual graduation, how fun. That was a day, but it was after that, then it's like, okay, well, what do I do now? And I'm like, okay, it's time for this MCAT round 2. So I got a Kaplan course. Well, my parents got it for me, and that's one of those ways where like I'm privileged that my parents were able to help me to get that. The first time around, I did not use a course. I didn't really have any, I had like schedules that I had found like on Reddit and things like that, but I was really legit self-studying. Like, telling you, it does make a difference when you use a course. It just like clears everything up. It's so less stressful. You have everything in front of you. You know exactly what you need to get done, and you have no idea the type of relief that offers you as someone who already is like under a lot of stress studying for the super difficult exam, right? So I started doing that. I don't remember exactly what day I started that, but I remember that I gave myself exactly 3 months to study. Halfway through the summer, I had to go back to Columbus, and basically I went back to study and to get ready to move out of my apartment, because my lease was ending at the end of July. So I had to go back, and I was able to have some quiet time, because I do have a lot of like family here, so it was very like distracting to study here for a little while. But I got to go back and study there. I moved out, And around that time, I was already working on my primary application. I had already put together all the, like, you know, the easy information, plugged everything in, but I was working on my personal statement because really I should have already submitted my primary, but since I didn't have my MCAT score yet, I wasn't in too much rush because I knew that it wasn't going to get verified or completed until everything was in. I was working on my personal statement for a long time. I sent it to so many different smart people that I know. They gave me feedback. I was able to refine it to the point where, like, I was like, okay, like, this is actually good. I feel like it represents me well. I feel like it tells a story well. It explains the why, and that's the most important thing. I read so many articles. I was literally overly prepared for this personal statement, and I submitted at the end, I think at the end of July. I submitted my primary application. I did take my MCAT August 7th of this year. I felt I was scoring like much differently than the first time I took the practice test and stuff like that. I was scoring pretty well. I was scoring like well within the range of like where I felt like the score that I needed to do well on or to be competitive. And so I felt like I was ready. I made that judgment call and I took the test on August 7th. I took it at 6:30 in the morning, which is something that I'm going to talk about more in the other video. But yeah, I got my score back in 2 weeks and it had changed significantly. It wasn't exactly what I was scoring in my practice test, but it was significantly higher than the first time I took it. Like, it's in the range of, like, you know, she's competent. You know, like, okay, she got a pretty decent score. Maybe we can take a look at her. That's how I was feeling like when I saw it. I was not happy with it. I was mad because I'm like, okay, I did so much. I don't know what happened, but it's not a bad score. They might look at this and be like, okay, she's not dumb. They know, she understands this content, you know. I just want to stop for a second and just kind of like comment on, like, I'm going really fast, like this is a lot of stuff, and it is a lot of stuff. And it seems like when people talk about medical school, like, you know, it's going to be hard and you know that there's going to be a lot to do, but when you're doing it and you're asking for support, people are like, oh, this is the hardest part, like if you get past this, like, you got it. So it's like, oh, I'm studying for the MCAT, I'm so stressed, all this stuff. Oh, this is the hardest part, you're gonna get past it, you got it. And then you get past it and you're starting this primary application and you're writing your personal statement and you're like, oh my God, this is killing me. And people are like, this is the hardest part, you're gonna get past it, you got it. Then you submit your primary application and you start getting all of those secondary apps. And I'm like, okay, this is the hardest part. This is definitely the hardest part. Like, I had around 20 schools, right? Around. Each school has 3 to 4 essays, maybe, probably more. They all want something different, and it's gonna take a lot of time, and it takes a lot of reflection. You're trying to convince these people why the hell they should let you into the school. You're trying to make sure that you are presenting yourself in the best way possible. And in my case, I'm dealing with the fact that I'm going through this major, like, mental, emotional transformation because I had a whole, like, mental health, like, reset at the beginning of September when I was waiting for my application to get verified. So I have to talk about myself in this positive light, but I'm not really feeling like that because I'm going through all these personal changes, and it very hard. You're continually asking yourself, like, why am I doing this to myself? And there has to be you have to be very, very strong in your why, and why you want to do it, because it has to be enough to even get to this point. And I haven't even gotten into medical school, you know. I finished all of my secondary applications, I think maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and I'm waiting to hear back. I've gotten a couple rejection letters from, like, reach schools, which didn't surprise me. But I have a feeling that it's going to take a little bit just because of COVID. And I'm sure that a lot of those schools are maybe understaffed or having issues with their whole processes and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm pretty much just waiting to see where I'm at. but I am still applying to medical school. I still want to be a doctor. I took the MCAT twice. I went through all that twice. I've been sitting here thinking about it nonstop every single day, and it has not been easy. I'm a first-generation college graduate. My parents don't know anything about what's going on. I inform them, but this is very much a personal journey. I have people that support me, but at the end of the day, you're the one doing the work. You're the one putting in the time. You're the one that's waking up every day and thinking about it. People are like, oh, I couldn't have done it without. That's true. You need other people. You need other people to be there for you sometimes, but you're the one waking up every day. You're the one making the sacrifices. It's been a long road. We're not all straight A students. We're just trying our best, and it's very important for doctors, students of color, to pursue careers in medicine. You know, there's a doctor who cardiologist who works at Ohio State. He no longer works at Ohio State. He actually works at UT Southwestern now, but he used to always say diversity saves lives, and he's really and it's really, really true, and that's part of what drives me, and that's part of my why, and that's never changed. Ever since I learned about certain things in school, it's never changed, and it's important. And I know that although there might be applicants that are, you know, have higher grades than me, I know what I have to offer. I have the passion, I have the drive, and I am not gonna give up. I'm gonna do it. Thank you so much for coming on and watching this video and listening to my journey. I hope that wasn't too much talking, but I'm happy that I get to share this journey, so that if there's anybody out there that, you know, having similar feelings as me, comes from a similar background as me, and is having doubts about their journey to medicine, you can relate to what I'm doing and the mistakes that I've made. And just hear me, and just know that there's a community here for you. I'm excited that I get to share this, and that I hopefully will reach somebody through these videos. But yeah, thanks for watching my channel. Share this video. You got it. And I'll see you guys soon.